Hello, 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 hello. Welcome in, everyone. How are we doing today? Are we alive? I hope so. Sniper, the stream just started. You want me to do 20 squats already? Oh, you evil thing. Alright, we'll do 20 squats and then we will begin the reading. I cast manual blinking. 20 days streak. Okay, 20 squats, and then we begin. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Squats done. You happy, Sniper? Oh gosh. You too, Mayu. I hope you take care as well. Nice, and welcome in. And I will not read it on the stream because I'm reading books normally on the stream, but I could always read it if you send me on Discord. I could read like 500 words of it. Also, good night, Mayu. Sweet dreams. Take care of yourself, okay? Yes. We are reading Department 19. Now, let's do a little recap on what happened previously, and then we'll begin. So, Jamie and Frankenstein go to a vampire chemist who's developing a drug called Bliss. Bliss is very addictive to vampires and contains human blood, so they become addicted to the drug instead of killing humans. They try and mix them together, then Jamie gets acid all over himself. Not so good, he's covered in burns, and these burns then start bleeding. This makes the calm chemist vampire sort of go a bit crazy, since he hasn't had, like, you know, he hadn't feasted on someone for years and years and years. There's a bit of an argument between Frankenstein and the vampire. Frankenstein's blaming the vampire for hurting Jamie, so on and so on. And afterwards, Jamie blames Frankenstein for being the reason he couldn't get more information about his mother. He tells himself the only way he'll get more information is from Larissa. The vampire is in the basement of the facility in the department. And then back in 1928, we hear a story about John Carpenter and some fancy guys, and they talk about how they'll help him do anything, even if it's against the law. And yes, that's where we are. That's it. Hi, Brad. Welcome in. How are you doing today? You doing well? Let's start now, shall we? Chapter 22. The City That Never Sleeps. Part 2. New York, USA. The 31st of December, 1928. Was hi, kiddo. Hi, kiddo. Welcome in. John Carpenter was roused from sleep by a loud knocking on the door of his room. He woke instantly, his hand reaching for the wooden stake he had placed on his bedside table. He slipped it from beneath his bedding and padded softly across the carpeted floor to the door. "Who is it?" he said. "Henry Victor," a low voice boomed from the other side of the wooden panels. Was I? Good night, Charlie. Sweet dreams. Carpenter put the hand containing the stake behind his back and opened the door 6 inches, the length of the sturdy chain he had left fastened. Henry Victor stood in the hallway, his vast frame reaching to within an inch or 2 of the ceiling. He looked down at Carpenter with a look of anger on his face. "You know who I am," he said. It was a statement rather than a question. "I believe I do," answered Carpenter. "Who did you tell?" "I told nobody." Your partner Willis. Not even him? Not even him. Victor reached into the pocket of his overcoat and withdrew a thick white envelope. Then perhaps you'll be able to explain this to me, he said, handing the envelope to Carpenter. Carpenter took it, noting as he did so the enormous size of the man's hand, and slipped the chain off its latch. He opened the door wide. "Come in," he said, walking over to the small desk beneath his window and placing the envelope on the wooden top. Victor did so, shutting the door behind him. Carpenter pulled 3 sheets of stiff card from the envelope. The first 2 were invitations, gold-edged rectangles of board with 3 lines of ornate printing on them. Central Park West and West 85th Street, 31st of December, 1928, 11 p.m. Let's welcome in, Sylvia. Yes, Peak Story. This book is Department 19 by Will Hill, and I'm giving you the number 4. He set these aside and looked at the 3rd card. It was a note handwritten in beautiful copperplate script. "Dear Mr. Frankenstein, please do me the honor of gracing me with your presence this evening, and do bring your new British friend. He has taken a room at the Hotel Chessier on the West 23rd Street. In case you need to find him, masks are mandatory. Black tie is preferred. Yours, V." Also, Orion, is there bad background noise? Is there any background noise? Please let me know if that's the case. There shouldn't be too much background noise. No, hopefully it's alright. And enjoy your lurking, Sniper. No noise? Okay, phew. Just checking. It keeps coming up like a maybe. Oh, that's me. That's me. I do that when switching between reading and talking to you lovelies. Yeah, it's me going. "I haven't used that name since I arrived in America," Frankenstein's voice said from above Carpenter's head. "More than a year ago." "Do you know anyone whose name starts with a V?" Carpenter asked. "No." "V for Valentin," thought Carpenter, and a shiver ran up his spine. The youngest of the 3 brothers turned by Dracula himself. Could it be him? "What about Haslett? Jeremiah Haslett?" he asked. "No." "Are you sure?" Frankenstein took a deep breath that sounded very much to Carpenter like an attempt at keeping his temper. "Mr. Carpenter, I keep myself to myself, especially where vampires are concerned." Carpenter snapped his head around. "What did you say?" Frankenstein laughed. "I'm sorry, did you assume that you and your friends were the only ones who knew? He laughed again, this time at the look of surprise on John's face. So thank you for looking, no? And, let me just type a message to Vala. Sweet dreams. Well, welcome in, Suzu. You doing well? And thank you, Savio. That's very sweet of you. I am a creature of the night, Mr. Carpenter. For reasons that should be obvious to you, I have travelled widely and seen and heard a great many things. I knew the sorry tale of Dracula before the Irishman wrote it down. I heard the rumours about Crowley and others like him. I've heard about your little organization. I've even heard of you, Mr. Carpenter. Your father, at least. Carpenter stared at the monster, stunned. Then you know why I'm here, he said, trying to regain his composure. I presume you are here to make sure that Mr. Haslett does not return to England's green and pleasant land. Carpenter nodded, and I would imagine that this evening's gathering strikes you as your best opportunity to carry out your task. So welcome in, Internet Angel. How are you doing today? You doing well? And yeah, I'm doing well, thank you, Susie. I'm certainly hoping so. Will you let me have both invitations? Frankenstein laughed and shook his head. I'm afraid not, Mr. Carpenter. I would ask this via certain questions of my own. But I will accompany you, and if the opportunity to assist you in your mission presents itself, then I will certainly consider doing so. How does that sound? That sounds fine. Carpenter hesitated for a moment. One of the oldest vampires in the world is believed to live in this city. His name is Valentin Rismanov. Have you heard of him? Also, Monster, I'd never look at the video account, and TikTok favors people who post short form content, and my content is very long form. I do long, relaxing reading streams, and people who doom scroll, they get bored of things very quickly. But yes, welcome in. Yes, Mika, this is an actual book. This is Department 19 by Will Hill, and we are around 40% through at the moment. So thank you, Monster. I appreciate it. Where was I? That sounds fine. Carpenter hesitated for a moment. One of the oldest vampires in the world is believed to live in this city. His name is Valentin Rismanov. Have you heard of him? Also, thank you for the galaxy, Mika. I appreciate it. The youngest of the three brothers. Indeed. I wonder if he could be the V who sent the invitations. If that turns out to be the case, said Frankenstein, we will be well advised to be extremely careful. Carpenter showered and dressed quickly after Frankenstein had left, but was still 10 minutes late meeting Willis in the diner on Broadway that the American had selected as they had said their farewells the previous evening. He slid into a red leather booth opposite Willis, ordered coffee and eggs, and quickly filled his partner in on the morning's developments. Willis listened intently, and then asked the question Carpenter had been waiting for. So welcome in, Willangen and the guy. How are you doing today? You doing well? Thank you for the water. I'll drink something real quick. Merci. Surely you realize that this invitation is a trap of some kind. Of course I do, replied Carpenter, but it still represents the best opportunity for me to carry out my mission. Surely you realize that. Willis sipped his coffee. I do, John, he said. I just felt it necessary to draw your attention to the fact that this V's motives for inviting you and the monster are unlikely to be honorable. I mean, no offense. Carpenter felt his anger dissipate. Control yourself. This man is not your enemy. Needless to say, I will take up position outside the building, and will be ready to assist in any way that is required. Willis continued. Unless it does not sit well with you. That sits fine, replied Carpenter. I will be grateful for your presence. That settles it then, said Willis, and forced a smile. Now let us turn our attention to breakfast. It promises to be a long day. John Carpenter stood at the corner of Central Park West and West 83rd Street, waiting for Frankenstein. The sun had long since disappeared below the horizon, and the night was cold and dark. He had left Willis in the diner and caught a carriage uptown to take care of some errands. He purchased a dinner suit from a tailor that Willis had recommended on Madison Avenue, continued north into Harlem to pay a short visit to a builder's merchant, before returning to his hotel to prepare himself for the ball, eating a light dinner on the restaurant on 6th Avenue, and making his way towards the wide expanse of Central Park. Let's welcome in, Kooky, or Elias. How you doing? What's up? Nothing much. How about you? I remember I was on, I think I played VR chat yesterday. I was just doing some silly eavesdropping while reading my book. But yeah, I want to start playing. I don't know. I want to start making more friends in VR chat, to be honest, instead of just sitting on a corner reading my book. Instead of sitting in a corner reading my book, I'm going to sit next to people and read my book. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the reading. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Let me drink a little bit more, then I'll continue. Cold night, said a deep voice from behind him. Carpenter stared and spun round. Frankenstein towered above him, a beautiful dinner suit covering his huge frame. He was looking down at Carpenter with a faint smile on his face. Sorry if I startled you, he said, and the smile widened by a few millimeters. Apology accepted, Carpenter managed in reply. You bloody fool, concentrate on the matter in hand. For God's sake, to be so easily surprised is unacceptable. Kiki says, you're not online that much no more, that's why I missed you. Oh, that's sweet. Well, you can message me on Discord whenever, okay? My Discord is on if you go on my profile and then click the card link, you can join then. Also, Frog, yeah. Do you not have your headset? I'm guessing you don't have your headset. Yeah, you should. It's chill. You just gotta be careful. Where was I? Frankenstein nodded. Glad to hear it, he said. Shall we? He gestured along Central Park West, to the corner of the Upper West Side that was their destination. The two men walked quickly to the address the invitations had specified. On the corner before them was a vast Gothic townhouse, dominated by a tall, circular tower that rose high above the slanted roof. The many windows of the building blazed with light, and even from their position across the road, the sounds of laughter and music could be heard. Standing by the large wooden door was a large figure in a dark grey overcoat and an expressionless Venetian mask. It was to this apparition that the two men presented their invitations. I've been doing good, thank you, Kooky. I've been alive and just reading and reading and reading. You've been doing good? I hope you have. The figure studied them carefully. Masks, it said, in a flat voice. Carpenter pulled a black eye mask from his pocket and set it in place. Frankenstein carefully looped the ribbons of a white mask with a long, narrow nose over his ears, and the doorman stood aside. The hallway was wide and grandly appointed. Sorry, big yawn. The hallway was wide and grandly appointed. Mirrors and paintings hanging at intervals along the walls. Vases of fresh flowers on every flat surface. A black and white tiled marble floor gleamed beneath their feet. An elderly waiter clad in immaculate white tie appeared beside them, offering a tray of delicate crystal champagne flutes. The two men accepted and walked down the corridor towards the pair of double doors from behind which came the sounds of a ball in full swing. Carpenter opened one of the doors and they walked inside. There were at least 200 people in the cavernous ballroom. Some on the wide marble dance floor, others standing in groups around the edges of the room, or sitting at round tables, laughing and conversing. At the back of the room, a low stage held a jazz quartet, who was thumping out a furious rhythm of bass and drums, over which the pianist was rattling out a ragtime melody. The air was still full of cigarette smoke, the pungent sense of opium, incense, shrill peals of laughter. and the hum of a great many voices mingled together. Was the monster I play VR chat, and I play League of Legends mainly. That's about it though, to be honest. I want to, I don't know, I want to play more games, but I have so many books I want to finish beforehand. Yeah, hold on, let me just get a start sweet. Okay, teach me and make. I have a NA account, I also have an EU West account, so if you ever want to play, just let me know. Just if you join my Discord server on my profile, there's there's a link with all my other links in there. And I can always help. Wait a goddamn minute. Do you want to join? Also, yes, I did play Minecraft. I recreated the Attack on Titan, like all the walls around like this tiny house. And that was really fun. Nothing good was in my shop that I'd get. I'd get like a Tristana skin if that came, but I only really play A Remain. Well, hi, Traveler. Welcome in. You doing well? Let's continue. Look at how big you are, shrieked a voice to their left, and the two men turned. A young woman with a feathered mask hiding her face, and her figure wrapped in a dark red ball gown that brushed the floor, was staring openly at Frankenstein, a look of wonder on her face as she swayed ever so slightly on towering stiletto heels. Well, hey, Simple. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. It's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Also, feel free to go to sleep, Benny. We're very chilly. I might wake you up though by going wah randomly. I hope you had a nice day, Traveler. It's considered rude to stare, said Carpenter. Oh, don't be silly, the woman replied, turning her face towards him. Through the holes in the mask, Carpenter could see that the woman's eyes were struggling to focus, and he relaxed. I believe you may have had too much to drink, he said to her. Perhaps a little fresh air would do you good. I'm sure you don't wish to embarrass yourself. He stepped back and opened the door to the corridor, holding it for her. She looked at him for a moment, as if she were trying to construct a riposte, then lifted her nose high in the air and strode unsteadily to the hallway without giving them a second look. Thank you, Frankenstein said, as soon as the door was again closed. I would have surely lost my temper had you not removed her. You're welcome, Carpenter replied. I suggest we part company and search for our respective targets. It's a hike, son. How are you doing today? I can't give you a night kiss, but I can say good night. And thank you for the roses, monster. I appreciate it. Frankenstein agreed, turned away, and disappeared into the crowd. Carpenter went in the other direction, skirting the edge of the dance floor, looking for Jeremiah Hazlitt. He passed a table full of sleek young men, their dining suits gleaming black, the plates razor sharp, and he found himself unable to look away. There was something intoxicating about them, the cigarettes dangling casually from their pale fingers, the easy manner of their conversation, the "Watch where you're going, for heaven's sake," said a loud voice. Carpenter pulled his gaze from the table, sought the source of the reprimand, and felt his heart lurch. In front of him stood a large, stocky man, wearing a carved vulture mask from which the eye holes flashed a dark, red glow. The man leaned forward, peering at Carpenter. He seemed about to speak when a young woman in a black dress danced into him, and he spun around and berated her for her clumsiness. When he turned back towards Carpenter, The glow from the mask was gone, and the men shoved roughly past him and disappeared. Also, hi, Victor. Hi, NTM. How are you lovelies doing today? You doing well? What game are you playing? Thank you for the got me. I appreciate it. I saw them, though. I saw his eyes. What is this place? He worked his way towards the long bar and was about to place an order when he saw a skeletally thin shape in the corner of his eye and turned towards it. Jeremiah Haslett was standing 15 feet away from him, leaning on the corner of the wooden bar, talking to a beautiful woman who could barely have been more than a teenager. He was wearing a red velvet eye mask and a triangular hat, but Carpenter recognized the sharp nose and the thin, cruel mouth from the photographs that had belatedly filled the London newspapers. Carpenter reached into his pocket, withdrew a narrow wooden stake, and let his arm drop to his side, concealing the weapon in his hand. He stepped forward, slowly, not wishing to announce his presence before it was necessary, then suddenly found the path to his target blocked by a group of laughing men and women as they carried a tray of drinks and cigars away from the bar and back towards the tables. He pushed one of the women gently out of the way, trying not to lose sight of this quarry, and she rounded on him, hissing loudly. The same red glow emanating from the holes in her delicate feathered mask. His heart leapt, but he stepped past her. So meet me by Penny. Welcome in. Oh, Bulletstone campaign. I hope you had fun. Also, I'd very much appreciate it if you did not call me that, Alexander. That makes me uncomfortable. Thank you. Also, NTM, I think maybe don't say that you're, that you're, yeah, drawing that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you, Penny. Quite sleepy, though, I have to say. Haslett was gone. Carpenter cursed and ran to where his quarry had stood, attracting looks of disapproval from the throng of drinking, dancing men and women. He looked around, in every direction, but there was no sign of the Englishman. Behind him, the band struck up a new number, and the activity on the dance floor intensified. A grandmother clock set between two long mirrors behind the bar tolled once, and Carpenter looked at it. The hands on the ornate face told him that it was 1:45. He no longer wanted another drink. He pushed on into the crowd, looking for Haslett or for Frankenstein, but could see neither man. He passed a heavy locked door that he presumed led into the rest of the house, then found himself caught amongst a large group of guests and was carried out onto the dance floor, his feet barely touching the ground. He pulled free of the good-natured hands that grabbed at his arms and spun, disorientated. He tried to make his way towards the band, but a pretty red-headed woman blocked his path, the tips of her incisors sharp and gleaming beneath the fractured light of the enormous crystal chandelier that hung above them. He turned about and struck out in the opposite direction, but had no more such success. A ring of men and women rotated in a frenzied circle of kicking feet and flailing arms, the momentum spinning him like a top. As a young man swung past him, his long blonde hair flying out behind him, Carpenter saw the red glow beneath the material of his feline mask, and his skin ran cold. He turned and almost ran into the white chest of an elderly man He was dancing with great enthusiasm with a girl young enough to be his granddaughter. The man turned and snarled at him, his white mask glowing red, 2 pointed teeth appearing beneath his bottom lip. Meep meep. And the keep the rose, Victor. Meep meep. Oh gosh, there are hundreds of them. What have I done? He reached into his pocket and pulled the stake 3, but a woman wearing a diamond tiara above a Japanese kabuki mask thumped into him, and the weapon clattered to the floor. He swore beneath his breath and stooped to look for it, but a dozen feet kicked it beyond his reach. Carpenter stood up, and a wave of terror so strong it was almost physical flooded through him. Standing before him was a luminously elegant man. He wore no mask, and his face, the features hinting at an Eastern European ancestry, was so pale that it was almost transparent. The veins tracing a faint pattern of blue across the milky flesh. Around them, the dancing seemed to have intensified, if that were possible. Yet, no one collided with the man, or even appeared to come close to doing so. It was as though he was surrounded by a magnetic field that repelled the revelers. So that is like that. I don't know if I'll be streaming for much longer. So, farewell, I think. But stay safe. Hold on, give me 1 second. Just moving some stuff around. Okay, there we go. It really is him, the youngest of the 3. Valentin Rasmanov regarded Carpenter with a look that made him feel like a specimen in a laboratory. The man's eyes were the same pale blue as the veins beneath his skin, and had a hypnotic quantity to them. He felt himself sinking into them and struggled to pull his gaze away. He was about to say something, although he had no idea what it was going to be, when thundering peals of bells began to count the chimes of midnight. Also, I am very sorry, everyone, but I think that's where I will have to end the stream for today. I am very tired. But yes, I hope you all enjoyed and have a lovely rest of your day, night, evening, anytime it is for you. Stay safe, don't panic, and may you all live in interesting times. Bye-bye. Also, before I go, George, these are books. The book, it's not a dumb question, don't worry. This is Department 19 by Will Hill. If you enjoy my reading, if you go to my link in my profile, you can join my Discord server for recaps of what's happened previously on stream. Thank you all again, and bye-bye. Take care.